Hey, Eric here from 5minuteinvesting.com and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about where to find dividend stocks that is giving you more than 8% interest. Now, I do have another video on dividend stocks and how to think about them. So if you haven't watched that one, you should definitely watch it. And in this video, I thought it might be interesting just to walk you through if I'm going to find a dividend stock that generate 8% today, where would I go and how would I go about it? So one of the websites I think is pretty good is actually vinviz.com. So it's FINVIZ.com. And it is essentially a stock screener kind of app. So I'm just going to go to that website right now, and within that website, you're going to find a tab called Screener. And in the screener, there are a lot of criteria you can use. So for example, you can use which exchange, which index, which sector, industry, country, and so on and so forth. Now, one of the interesting criteria is actually dividend yield. Now, depending on your risk appetite, you can actually choose from over 1% or over 2% all the way to over 8%. And the highest you can go in terms of this filter is really over 10% dividend. So if you want to choose and find dividend stocks that's greater than 8%, then just choose 8%. Now, once you get the list, what you're going to find is that there are a lot of kind of investment corporations, finance trusts, and real estate companies. And that is really because when you're investing in real estate companies, they are required to distribute most, if not all, of their profits to their unit holders. And that's why you can get such a high dividend rate. Now, when you're investing in these kind of high dividend companies, I think it's quite important for you to understand the company's performance. First of all, that's fundamental analysis. And secondly, you need to understand the trend of the company. It is actually quite easy for the stock to go up and down by 8%. If you're buying a stock that is $10, it's quite easy to go up by $1 or down $1, and there goes your dividend. So in another video where I talk about dividend stock, I actually talk about the consideration and why I don't focus too much on the dividend, but I focus more on the stock price itself. So you can definitely watch that. So once you have this list of dividend stock that is generated more than 8% from VinViz, you can actually quite easily go and check the charts to make sure everything looks good. Make sure you do your fundamental analysis, and so on. Now, I understand that a lot of people like to use dividend stock because they think they're getting passive income. They think they're just getting a regular amount of income without doing much work, and so on. But I think it's actually quite important to think about it the other way. If you are getting money out, basically the company is distributing you dividend on a regular basis, then the money will be sitting idle in your account and it is not invested. So instead of the company taking your money, generating some profit, reinvesting, and then generating more profit, and then reinvesting, you actually need to do that part yourself. So once the company generates some profit, they send it back to you, you get taxed on it, and then you reinvest it, and then they give it back to you because they give you dividend, and you get taxed on it, and then you reinvest it again. So you see, the step where you need to reinvest every time you get dividend is actually quite manual and time consuming, and you don't always get the best price, and the money is kind of idle in your account for a certain period of time, so then that will lower your return. So when you consider these factors, then I think you might want to take a step back and think about whether dividend stock is really the way to go, and you also want to include the tax on dividend. Now in Canada and US, I know the dividend tax is actually quite high compared to capital gain, especially long-term capital gain. So in US, there's a concept called long-term capital gain, and if you hold a stock for more than a year, then the capital gain essentially gets reduced instead of treating it as income. So you want to take that into account as well. So that's really it for finding dividend stock that generates more than 8%. It is actually quite straightforward. If you want to focus more on capital gain, my investing strategy is actually all about capital gain. So my investing strategy is called long-term investing using stock options. If you have never heard of it before, it's really just a tool that allows me to multiply my profits, target 30% from the market while using an hour a week. So if you want to learn more, you can click on the first link below, which I have a free webinar called How to Get 30% in 12 Months. So you can watch that and learn more. And if you want to try one of the modules about technical analysis, you can click on the link below as well, called a free chart course, where I teach you how to set up your own chart in a couple of hours, and how to use the indicators I use, which I have generated more than 450% to date in the last 4 years. So I think that's pretty helpful. And if you like this video, remember to click like or comment or subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next one.